Hello there. My name is Connie. I am a South African Australian. I live and work in Australia, in Adelaide, South Australia. So I this is Mzansi Oz. Mzansi Oz, it's about South Africa, Mzansi, um, Zulu name for South Africa, and Oz, short for Australia. So that's why I renamed this channel to be Mzansi Oz because I recently came back from South Africa. I visited my friends and family over there. I hadn't traveled to South Africa for many years because I couldn't afford it, and it's so far away. Due to also to COVID, the lockdown, and all of that. You know, I delayed the trip. So we finally made it to South Africa. Oh my God, it was epic. I enjoy every bit of it. And that's why I'm working so hard right now. So when the opportunity comes, I find myself having some free time and I'll be flying back there as soon as possible. I heard that the South African Airways have started in Perth. That is going to be my way back to South Africa, visiting as often as I can because it's a direct flight. When you using other airline, a bit cheaper, but you are on the road for about 2 days at least. So yeah, I think I'm gonna try the Perth line because then that means that I can just from Adelaide to Perth and from Perth to Joburg. Oh my God, that was love. Joburg, hello Joburg. Ah, fantastic. Don't get me started with Johannesburg. Yeah, we were in so many parts of Joburg. Went Joburg, and we went to Pretoria. We went to Free State, which is my hometown. I'm the Free State girl. Free State, Free State. Yes, I. That's where I was born and raised in Warden, small town, country, farming town, and that's where my grandfather owned a lot of they're farmer in my family. My grandfather's side, my mother's side, they were farmers, so that's where we were raised. Because my parents are divorced, and when they did divorce with my dad, my grandfather, like a gentleman he was, he said, "You know what? The kids are going to stay with us, and you can go with your career, and you can come and visit your children, but they can stay here. We've got a big home," and I enjoyed every minute of it. It's one of the fondest memory that I have. It's one when I was a kid growing up in rural South Africa, chasing the cows, and in rolling hills. In South Africa, there's a lot of mountains, yeah, and rivers, and swimming in a crocodile infested river. Oh my God, I wouldn't do that now. I wouldn't do that. But that is how you do when you're a child. You just don't perceive danger. You don't perceive danger. You just go for it, and you don't see that actually where you are, the crocodile can just come out and eat you alive, and your mom or dad will never see you again. So that is my childhood. And then I went to live with my mom in Kwakwa, which is where I finished my high school in Kuala Tutu High School. Shout out to Kuala Tutu High School. You have done great because, yeah, I went there and then I went to University of Pretoria. University of Pretoria was a cultural shock for me, having because I was born and raised in the rural areas. So my grandfather was a Zulu man, and he was very strict. So you wouldn't. We weren't allowed to watch TV. It was during the apartheid years, so anything that was negative, no, no TV for us as kids. So even newspaper, we're allowed to read our books, to be artistic, to do anything to do with that creative around development of any child, but nothing to do with news and television because he was trying to shield us from what was going on in Johannesburg, the uprising and how and eventually the end of apartheid. So that was the story about. So when I went to Pretoria University, it was a shock. It was really a shock because I grew up in a community of nurturing environment where everybody look after each other, small rural community. And you go to this big city, you know, where you're going to stay in a residential facility. I had to leave because, I'm from Free State. I had to live in actually the university campus, where there were set of rules. Like if you're new, a first year student, you would go to this. Yeah, it was really horrible that they put us through there. When I hope they've stopped that. I heard that they stopped that thing. Like to your first year now, you have to do certain things to people who are second or third year, and basically they treat you like you're a slave at the time. That's how I interpreted living in residential facility at University of Pretoria. But as a university itself, excellent university. Actually, my biggest wish is that my son would actually go and enroll in University of Pretoria, because they do provide a good grounding of um, they're not just teaching you your course, you actually learn leadership skills, the skills that will sustain you forever. So you don't want to just be someone who get out of university with a certificate and you can't do certain things. You can't host a meeting. You can't. Yeah, I definitely recommend it. If you are in South Africa, and yeah, consider them. Consider, because I'm the alumna. I'm the Tex alumna, very proud Tex alumna for that matter. I am so I yeah, eventually after we came here in Australia in 2006, I worked as a physiotherapist, which is my degree that I obtained from University of Pretoria. I registered here from 2008, been a registered physiotherapist in Australia. I've been practicing then since then, and in last few years, and I thought, you know what, I'm gonna study pharmacy, and uh, that's pharmacy is one of my special interests. I love pharmacy, and so I went to pharmacy school, finished it, and did a couple of sting of a halfway internship that didn't go anywhere. And I decided, yeah, I'm gonna wait until I find an internship that actually recognize my what I bring into the program. Obviously, you're still an intern, but I'm not your typical intern, as you have heard of so many stuff I've said so far, that of my background. So if you are somebody who has a low self-esteem, you would not recognize that as an incentive, as someone you can bring into your team, like myself. And I'm so tired of trying to actually to lower myself so somebody else can feel good about themselves. That's who I am. That's the title. And I've been proud in both titles. I'm actually proud for both. I'm proud for what I've achieved as a person, for what I stand for as an individual. You guys, you know, living in Australia is not so like easy. I know that you guys listen to a lot of online stuff, a lot of media that are, telling you things how great this country is. Yes, it is a great country. It is a wonderful place. Australia is the best country. Um, However, there are some caveat in that. There are some caveat that you need to consider if you wanna come in here. Especially if you're coming from a South African. I'm talking from a South African perspective. South Africans, we know that if you are a person of a certain profession, like I was, if you're a physiotherapist, you are a doctor, you are a pharmacist, you are a nurse, you're living a certain lifestyle. If you're in South Africa, there's a certain lifestyle you live in. And if you're a young family, you would have like a nanny, you would have either a domestic worker, which is somebody employed at home to look after your household, anything to do with cleaning, shopping, and running your errands around the house while you go to work. You don't come to work and work. Here in Australia, be prepared that you'll come to work and come home and work again to do your housework because you can't afford it with that salary. You wouldn't be able to afford it. I had a cultural shock when I came to Australia. It was a cultural shock that I cannot imagine. Even now, I'm still shocked that I can't believe that I'm still here for all these years, because it was a shock because as a middle class South African coming to Australia, it was a downgrade. I was downgrading my lifestyle. Yeah, it was coming from middle class, coming back to a low class, what you would consider a low class in South Africa, which is, you're struggling, gonna go to work and everything else you just pay your bills and then you got nothing to show for. And that's why I didn't actually go to South Africa for many years because it just became so difficult and so expensive to go and travel to South Africa. And then last year, a friend of mine who know somebody in UK had heard of this company that was actually looking towards people who are, you know, great at motivating people, great at providing some leadership into their own business that are actually that that can provide that leadership and moving forward and expanding into other markets. To cut things short, is that was me. That was me. So I end up partnership with them, and that was great because that from that money gained to that business, I was able to actually finally say, hey, we now need to go and see South Africa. Well, let's go to South Africa. And if I didn't consider that self-employment, if I thought, oh, I'm just going to keep on doing my work as physio and other things and not really consider having another job or having another side hustle that would allow me, or I just continue to do what I was doing last year, which was I was doing an internship that didn't end up doing so great in the end. But yeah, so I would have just stayed in that state and not consider that actually there are people out there who are actually making a lot of money, a lot of money. And if you're that person and anything that I've said today resonate with you, please consider subscribing. I don't do YouTube as a full-time job. I do YouTube because right now it's my coffee time. So I just thought, you know what, I haven't posted for a while. Why not? I need to post this and make sure that you guys are aware up to what I'm up to, and hopefully I can get into a routine of posting. As you know, we people who are ADHD, we don't have sense of time. ADHD people don't have sense of time, and that's me. And thank you for listening. If you like this video, like it, subscribe, and click that button there that has like a bell so that you can be notified when I post and something new in this YouTube channel. Thank you guys. I really I am so grateful that I am in this lucky country. And you also be grateful that you are in South Africa. South Africa is the best country in my view. If I wasn't living in Australia, I'd be living in South Africa. Have a lovely day. Bye for now.